Hi, welcome back to another great episode of the Couples Corner, a place where couples connect. I am one of your co-hosts, Katie Lemieux.
And I'm Susan Block, and Katie and I are both licensed marriage and family therapists right here in South Florida, and we're happy to have you tune in today.
So thanks for tuning in. Susan and I are couples counselors, and we are super passionate about the work that we do, and we love that you tune in every week to hear what topics we're going to talk about today. So we wanted to say welcome to Luna Medina-Wolf. She is a licensed mental health counselor and certified addictions professional, and she is going to be talking to us and you today about loving someone with addiction.
So welcome. We're happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Cool.
So tell us a little bit about how you got started working with, individuals, I guess, that are dealing with addiction.
I started in the field of addiction right out of graduate school. I was placed there for my practicum, and being there, seeing the need for counseling got me really passionate about it. I sticked with it, and all the way through now, working with individuals, families, and couples within the addiction.
Okay, and that probably hits home for a lot of people, family members, relationships. It just impacts, the individual and the couple as well. So welcome, we're so happy to have you.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about, when you're working with couples and how addiction can really impact a relationship.
Well, in general, addiction is a family disease, so it's not something that affects only the individual. It always affects everybody around them. And when it comes to couples, of course, it's going to affect their relationship. Something that a lot of the times happens is that the partner does not share the fact that they're suffering from addiction, struggling with addiction. Sometimes they're not even aware themselves that they have that issue.
Right.
So as the relationship grows, stressors comes into life, things happen, the addiction might get worse, and then things all of a sudden are coming to surface, such as lies and just discrepancies, and people find themselves all of a sudden questioning their relationship and what is going on. Sometimes they even think it's an affair, and it's actually an affair with a drug and not with somebody else.
It's a betrayal.
It is a betrayal.
Something I hear a lot that comes up when working with couples who are dealing with addiction is really what the difference is between, abusing alcohol or drugs and having an addiction. And I'm not even sure that really matters what you call it, but that it impacts the relationship nonetheless.
Well, especially with the changes that happened with the DSM, so it's hard to define. They changed a lot about it. But the main thing I think to think about is how much is it really affecting the person and what's the consequences, because that's what it boils down to. When all of a sudden the person is supposed to pay the mortgage, and instead of paying the mortgage, they spend all their money on alcohol or any type of drug, there's an issue. Right. Or if there's a DUI all of a sudden, or if your kids tell you, if there's kids in the relationship, mom or dad were a little weird today, and that possibly they were intoxicated while driving the kids. That unfortunately happens a lot. With alcohol, it even becomes a little bit of more of an issue to some people because it's legal. So What's the problem?
Sure. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you are in a relationship with someone who may be dealing with addiction, what are some of the things that you can do?
Well, the most important thing I think is that if you feel like there's an issue, talk to your partner about it, see how open they are to talking about it, to possibly getting help as a couple, going to counseling, going to a meeting together even, for them to hear other people, and then maybe we'll resonate with them if they're not fully in awareness that they have that issue. If they do realize it and they're willing to seek help, then counseling could be a first step. And then if it's somebody, preferably it would be somebody who has the experience with addiction, they will be able to tell you, okay, this is not the best fit for you right now. Maybe you should go to residential treatment or an IOP program, depending on the severity of the addiction.
And so what's IOP for our audience?
Oh yeah, intensive outpatient. So residential would be them being 24/7 in a facility being treated. IOP is just 3 times a week. Some programs have morning, some at night. It's 3 hours for 3 days a week, 9 hours total. And then the other option is the 1 time a week seeing a therapist. So it really depends on the severity of the addiction and if the person needs detox, because they're really abusing the drug, then it's really different, and it's important to separate it.
And I think, just kind of going along with what you're saying, having this conversation, it can be a really difficult conversation to have, and such a hot button for, the individual or the couple itself. And so I think even just letting your partner know, I'm feeling really hurt, you're drinking a lot, I feel like you're withdrawing from the relationship, just kind of letting them know, I think, how it's impacting you personally, without it being blame or, highlighting the addiction, so to speak.
Exactly. You're
just communicate.
Definitely touching on a very important topic. The idea that you as a partner, you want to bring it up if it's not something that has been discussed before. But after, if they do realize they have an issue, it's so important to stay in your lane as a partner. Loving, compassionate, supportive, not blaming, not trying to find how they should do it, counting how many pills are left in the box. All those kind of behaviors are actually something that will most likely draw them away from you than closer to you. And one very, very important thing, and I'm saying it to the camera on purpose, if your husband or wife or partner is intoxicated, it's definitely not the time to talk to them. A lot of people, they come home and they're so anxious because they didn't show up, or something big happened, a credit card bill came in, whatever the situation is, and they're lashing at them right when they're coming in intoxicated. Nothing is going to come out of it. So it's really, really important to just make the separation and allow them to go through the night, wake up, and then maybe have that conversation. The next step, if your partner is not willing to admit they have a problem and you're finding yourself arguing, they're not willing to go seek help, then it's time to take care of yourself. It's counseling, definitely an option, going to find a counselor to help you through the process, but there are definitely some national resources online that you can seek, naranon.org or alanon.org, so ALANON.org. You can find a meeting anywhere you are. There are tons of meetings out there. They have a lot of resources, a lot of materials, a lot of things you can find online. I strongly, strongly recommend for people to go to at least 6 meetings and different meetings before they decide this is not for them. Yes, because it depends on the group. Sometimes the group will be more focused on my child and how my child is dealing with addiction. If you're dealing with your partner, that's not going to talk to you. It's not going to resonate with you. So you definitely need to find a group that you feel you're comfortable sharing, that you feel comfortable talking to the people. Try talking to the people before and after the meeting, so you're not all on your own dealing with this, because the support is really, really important.
One suggestion, when anyone decides to go to any type of group, to try to get there like 15 minutes before the group starts, so that you can have kind of that little get to know you moment before the actual group begins.
Definitely.
So that way when the group actually begins, you can feel more comfortable to share your story and put yourself out there a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. They have to learn about this, because some people come and say, but what's the problem? Why can't they just not drink? Or why can't they not just pick up this pill? Why is it so complicated? Because those who are not addicts, or they don't come from the family of addiction, they haven't experienced it much in their life, they really don't understand it. So it's important to read and kind of like be aware of what it is, so this way it's easier to be supportive for the partner. And they'll tell you that in those rooms, in those meetings, in Naranon and Alanon, they tell you, stay in your lane, be compassionate, be loving. And at the same time, the tough love is something that comes in, as far as be careful of the manipulation, because a lot of lies do happen, and they will use, if you love me,
Right.
I thought you loved me.
So what happens when the partner is willing to go for help, and what can a couple then begin to do?
I think the best result will still be couples counseling first, because even if it's not somebody who's specialized in addiction, I believe that we're all responsible professionals, most of us anyway, and they'll be able to refer out if they feel like it's something that needs to be dealt outside. And there are resources for professionals as well, like the CAGE questionnaire. It's available online. You can just make them fill it out, and then okay, there's more severe situation here. So definitely a couples counselor, and then they'll be able to tell them, okay, you should go here or there, or they can work it out in therapy session.
Okay. Great. Well,
Great.
thank you so much. These are such helpful tips for couples that are struggling with addiction. Can you tell the audience how they can reach you?
Yeah. My website is helpingmoon.com. You can find me there or on Facebook. And I do offer free 15 minutes consultation to just make sure I'm the right fit for you. And if not, I will do my best to help you find someone that will be a good fit. And I do speak English, Spanish, and Hebrew as well.
That's fantastic. So you can help a lot more people too.
Yes, a broader
Hopefully.
audience.
Yeah, very
Well,
good.
thank you so much, and it's been an honor having you here today to talk with us about this topic.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Well, thank you to our audience. Thank you to you. And we just wanted to say thanks for tuning in to the Couples Corner. Find us on Facebook at the Couples Corner South Florida Couples. You'll see a picture of Susan and I. Like the page. There you'll find resources, information, get to connect with our guests. And we hope you tune in next time. I'm Katie Lemieux.
And I'm Susan Block, and thanks for watching.